Welcome to the Flora Sage Podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my podcast. Today's episode is a walk and talk episode. A walk and talk episode is an episode that I have created outside of my normal recording realm. This is usually when I'm either walking around my house because I have something that I've been guided to share with you right away, or I'm walking my dog around the neighborhood, and again, I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally have to share this with my people. So today I want to briefly talk with you about how you can create a 1-degree shift in your life, and how when you understand what a 1-degree shift is, like truly understand it and embody it, how it is going to change your life forever. So I want you to think about a car, okay? That vehicle is on the East Coast and it's facing west, and you hit the gas and you have the steering wheel stay straight at that 0 dial mark. So what's going to happen? It's going to go straight across the country from the East Coast to the West Coast. Now, I want you to picture that same vehicle, but you shift the steering wheel just 1 degree to the right or 1 degree to the left. What's going to happen over time is that vehicle is going to end up in a completely different place. At first, it doesn't seem like it because it's going along the same road and it's just like, okay, just 1 degree off. But then over time, you're like, wait a minute, hang on, I'm supposed to be in California, I'm in Canada. Or wait a minute, I'm supposed to be in California, I'm in Mexico. So that's what happens to your life. And to like literally everything that you apply the 1-degree shift to, that's what happens, is you end up in a totally different place. And the cool thing is you just did it 1 degree at a time. So it was easy. Oh my gosh, this is so easy. How often have you heard the saying, go big or go home? And if you want to make a big, huge change, you have to do that 45-degree shift or that 180-degree shift or that 90-degree shift. And it's so much change. I'm here to tell you that is the number one way to burnout. I've seen it. I've been coaching people for over 24 years. And that is the number one way that I have seen people burn themselves out, is by making too many changes too soon. When I discovered the 1-degree shift, I was jobless, homeless, living in South Africa with my 2 kids. I ran away from life thinking I could rebuild my life someplace else. But the fact was that I couldn't run away from myself. And I was the common denominator to the shit show that was my life. And so I realized if I want to make a change, I need to just do this 1 step at a time. And I hadn't prayed at that point for years, I think about 3 years. That whole story is on my website as a free download. You can go to florasage.com/1-degree book, or just go to florasage.com, or actually better yet, click the link in the show notes. But in any case, so I hadn't prayed for about 3 years, and I'm not a religious person, but I am spiritual. So I prayed to my peeps, which is God, source, universe, everybody, plus my parents. And I'm like, all right, peeps, my life is a shit show. I need some help, but please give me 1 step. I can't even bring up the energy to do 2 steps or 5 steps or even 20. I barely have enough energy to function right now. So I just need 1 step. So peeps, just give me 1 step that I can do, that I can take to help me shift out of the shit show that's my life. So I was given a step and I'm like, all right, cool. I do that step. And then I'm like, all right, peeps, give me the next step. Did the next step. Okay. And I follow that. I continue to follow that. And I saw my life changing. I saw myself going from a miserable person who was tired, exhausted, just literally consumed by negativity and seeing everything that was wrong in the world, to all of a sudden feeling relief, feeling like, oh, well, maybe this isn't so bad. Or, oh, hey, wow, that person helped me. Wow, that was really cool. What? And then like all of a sudden, things just seemed better. And I didn't know how, I didn't know why. I hadn't put the pieces together yet, but I just kept asking, what's one thing I can do? Okay, what's the next step? Okay, what's the next step? And I just focused on one tiny thing. And sometimes it was just getting out of bed. Sometimes it was going outside and getting some sun. Sometimes it was walking around the block with my kids. Sometimes it was going to the library and picking some random fantasy novel that I never read that genre, but I mean, just some random fantasy. And I'm like, okay, just one thing. And that one thing led to another thing, which led to another thing. I mean, literally miracles happened in my life. I manifested a full college scholarship. I manifested cash for a car to pay in full. And I was like, what? I manifested a move across the country. And I haven't stopped since. And it's literally just from creating and deciding what's one thing I can do. And I want that for you. So how do you do this for yourself? Okay. First of all, if you want to, you can read my book, The 1 Degree Shift. I not only give you the long version of the 1 Degree Shift method, but I also share with you all kinds of stories about myself as well as clients who have gone through the 1 Degree Shift and who have changed their life forever. But right now, I'm just going to give it to you in a nutshell. The first thing is to just close your eyes, take a deep breath. What's one thing that feels off, that feels out of alignment in your life right now? Just one thing. What feels out of alignment right now? I want you to just sit with it for just a moment. And then ask yourself, okay, so I'm out of alignment. This feels off in my life. Okay, so what is one thing that I can do to help shift these feelings so that I feel a little bit more in alignment? It could be an action. It could be, let's just say that you have cramps, that Aunt Flo came into town, you got cramps, you feel like crap, and you're like, ugh, and you're thinking, oh, I really need to be doing this and this and this and this and this, and you're really getting on to yourself, and you're feeling this resistance, and now you're like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to listen to a podcast. And then so you pick up this podcast, and you're listening to me. You're like, yes, I have cramps. Okay, so ask yourself, what's one thing that you can do right now that will help you feel better, that will help you feel more in alignment and not resist your visit from Aunt Flo? It could be to just grab a blanket and lay down on the couch instead of sitting at your desk trying to work. It could be having that piece of chocolate. It could be saying, oh, you know what? Maybe I need some CBD oil. Or let me heat up a rice sock, or like a heating pad. For those of you who don't know, rice socks are amazing. You basically take a giant sock, fill it full of rice, tie the end up, and microwave it for a few minutes. Oh, it's the best for period cramps. Anyway, so you just add, what's one thing I can do? What's one thing I can do? Maybe have some chocolate, get a blanket, lay down on the couch. Okay, cool. So now you're in a state of non-resistance. Now you're in a state of, okay, I know I should be doing all these other things, but right now, self-care is more important. And allow yourself to just be in that space of non-resistance and allowing yourself to just be. for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And then after 20 minutes, you're like, oh, wow, you know what? I feel really good. Cool. So then you could stay in that status quo, or you could say, okay, I'm feeling better. What's one more thing that I can do? Well, now that I'm feeling better, maybe I want to do some yoga. Or let's just say, so kind of let's rewind a little bit, and let's just say one of the things that you're feeling out of alignment with is one of your relationships, okay? So maybe you have a relationship that just is irritating, or it's very frustrating. Okay, so you're like, all right, my relationship with so-and-so does not feel in alignment. It feels off. It feels hard. Okay, so sit with it. Really allow yourself to get honest about yourself and that relationship. And ask yourself, okay, what's one thing that I can do that will help me in this relationship? Now, the full version of this, I'm not going to go into, but for step one, instead of just recognizing, okay, where am I at? What feels out of alignment? Make sure that you're honest with yourself about what's actually happening. Not what you think is going on, but what's actually going on. Okay? And then allow yourself to say, okay, what is the fact and the feelings that I have? So the fact part is what's actually going on here in this relationship. And what are my feelings? Because those are valid. So what is the situation? And then number two, what do I want instead? What would I rather have with this same person? Do you want to nurture the relationship? Do you want to clear up something that happened? So get really honest. Okay, what do I want instead? And then the third thing, all right, so what's going on? That's number one. What do I want instead? That's number two. Perfect. So what's one thing that you can do to get number two? What's one thing that you can do to get what you want out of this relationship? Not from a place of ego, not from a place of manipulation, but how can you feel more in alignment with this relationship? And you literally can apply this to anything. How can I feel more aligned with my finances? How can I feel more aligned in my relationship? How can I feel more aligned with my food? How can I feel more aligned in my physical body? How can I feel more aligned with my spiritual practice? How can I feel more aligned with everything that I do during the day, with my schedule? How can I feel more aligned with myself? And this is huge, because literally all you have to do is ask yourself, anytime you're feeling out of alignment, or you're feeling rushed, or you're feeling pissed off or angry, or you're feeling weird or funky, stop and say, what am I feeling? And really get in touch. Allow yourself to tune into that feeling of misalignment. And that's your intuition saying, something's going on here. So if you're anything other than in joy and in love and in happiness, something is out of alignment. Okay? Something is out of alignment. Now, we can be in joy and all that stuff and in happiness and still be in that neutral space. But if you're anything other than that neutral space, something is off. Give yourself permission to say, okay, where am I at? Where do I feel out of alignment? Be honest with yourself. All of this, you got to be honest with yourself, okay? You can't kid yourself. Allow yourself to be honest. Where do I feel out of alignment? What feels off? And then say, okay, what's one thing I can do to shift? What's one thing I can do to shift? By thought, that thing is brought to you. By action, you receive it. That's by Wallace D. Wattles. It's part of manifesting. That's a whole other podcast episode. What's one thing I can do? And it's not 20 things. It's what's one thing I can do. And that one thing could be an action. It could be, I'm going to get up and I'm going to make that phone call that I'm meaning to make, that I've been too freaked out or scared or whatever to make. Or I'm going to lay down and I'm going to take a nap. Or I'm going to have a banana. Or I'm going to cut up my credit card. Or I am going to buy that course or make that investment. Or I'm going to put my shoes on and I'm going to walk around the block. So give yourself permission to take that inspired action. Take that inspired action. And I'm telling you, taking just one action, shifting just 1 degree over and over and over again is going to change your life forever. Forever. I'm telling you this. You don't believe me? Try it out. Prove me wrong. Seriously. I can't tell you how many times people have said, this is just too freaking easy. There's no way. I'm like, prove me wrong. Try it out. Try it out. Pick one area of your life that feels off and give yourself 30 days. Every day. How do you feel about that particular area of your life? Tune in, get honest with yourself, and say, okay, what's one thing that I can do today that will help me go closer to that thing that I want? If it is greater communication with your partner, you wake up, you say, okay, how do I feel about my relationship right now? Breathe into it. Feel the alignment or misalignment and say, okay, what I want is greater communication with my partner. So what's one thing that I can do to help bring us to that place of greater communication? Write a sticky note and put it in their lunchbox. All right, perfect. Or stick it on the dash of their car or their vehicle. Okay, cool. So you get up before them, go to the office or that junk drawer or wherever it is that you keep your sticky notes, and you write, I love you, babe. I hope you have an amazing day. Love, XOXO. You put it where you know that they're going to see it after they leave the house. Perfect. That's one tiny thing. The next day, you wake up, all right, what's one thing I can do to help better my communication? Maybe the same thing. Hey, babe, I love you so much, and I love waking up next to you every single day. I hope you have an awesome day at work. Perfect. Do that. Maybe the next day, you're guided to send a couple of cheeky text messages to your partner. Okay. Hey, babe, just thinking about you, whatever. Every day, one thing. One thing. That's it. Like I said, you can apply this to relationships, to your health, to your wealth, to your physical fitness, to your spiritual practice, to your business. Ask yourself every single day, where do I feel out of alignment? And like I said, you can test this out. Pick one area of your life to focus on for the next 30 days and allow yourself, give yourself permission to just do the one baby step, the 1 degree shift. And after 30 days, I can guarantee you, you are going to be in such a different place. Such a different place. Because you've allowed yourself to take that aligned action. You've noticed where you feel out of alignment. Something feels off. You identify it. You're honest with yourself about it, saying, yeah, this doesn't feel so good. Okay, so what's one thing that would help me feel more like how I want to feel? Okay, boom. Try it. Do it. Now, I do this throughout my day. I don't just do it once a day. I do it throughout the day. If I feel off, I'm like, okay, stop. What's going on here? Why do I feel off? Where do I feel off? Okay, cool. Once I identify it, then I'm like, all right, what's one thing I can do? What's one thing I can do? I do that until I feel complete, and then I go on and I do something else. So, give yourself permission to try this out for the next 30 days. Why 30 days? I don't know. It's just an arbitrary number that I just grabbed out of thin air. If you want to do it longer, shorter, but 30 days is for sure, I know, because I worked with so many people with this, 30 days for sure will give you clear results. Where like undeniable results where you're going to be like, holy shit, how is this possible? It is possible, and it is doable. So truly allow yourself to test this out for yourself. Now, if you want my support and my help with this, I do have private coaching spots available. When I do private coaching, I don't do the weekly phone sessions. Excuse the vernacular, but I think that's bullshit. Life does not wait. Life does not wait. So when you sign up for private coaching with myself, you have 24/7 access with me through a voice app called Voxer, Voxer. It is a safe and secure app. That way we can have real-time conversations. And you can capture your experience in real time. You don't have to wait for a phone call. You literally, let's just say that you're in the middle of something. You're like, oh my God, I totally have to talk to Flora. Pop into the app, you hit go, and you're like, okay, Flora, this is what's going down. And you give me a play-by-play right away. Okay? So this way you can capture what's going on in the moment, and you don't have to wait. Also, one of the things that my clients absolutely freaking love, how many times have you had an aha moment? You're like, oh my God, this is so good. And you don't want to lose it. But you're not in a place where you can talk to your coach or a trusted advisor or mentor. So what do? You either lose it or you write it down. But then you write it down, and then let's just say that you don't see that person for a couple weeks. Well, then life has shifted, life has changed, and you lose that momentum of that particular thing. So one of the things that my clients absolutely freaking love is that when they have a question or they have an aha moment or they have something that they're like, oh my gosh, yes, they pop in, they share it. That way, they keep it for themselves in Voxer, and I can help them in the moment. Like I said, you don't have to wait for a 60-minute phone call every Tuesday afternoon. Life doesn't stop for that. Like, life just keeps going. And so that's the beautiful benefit of having unlimited access, is you literally can pop in whenever, wherever, share with me your aha moments, your struggles, your questions, things that you're pondering, and we can have a dialogue back and forth. And you can listen to it in real time, or you can wait until you have time to listen to it. It's awesome. And you can do video, you can do audio, you can do text. It's brilliant. But this is how I coach my clients and work with my clients, because it's more productive, it saves time, it's more efficient, and it's literally like having me in your back pocket 24/7. So if you want that kind of support, if you want that kind of access with someone so that you can see and feel and have results that, like, not only you see, but that other people in your life see, that they stop you and they're like, yo, oh, what are you doing? Because you just keep getting happier and happier, and you just look so good. Like, I want a piece of what you got. Like, what's going on here? And I can't tell you how many times I've had clients tell me that people have stopped them. And they're like, what are you doing? Like, you just seem so happy lately. And they're like, well, yeah, I am happy. Like, I'm working with this lady named Flora Sage, and she helped change my life. Like, I had one, client of mine who came to me. She just finished a degree. She was looking for a job. Through some mindset shifts and through some prepping, I helped her find a job. And then she's been there for a year. She got a 42% raise. And she's like, holy shit, Flora, this is freaking crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh. So give yourself permission to just say, am I ready to have support? Am I ready to have someone in my corner, literally in my back pocket, that will help me create these little 1-degree shifts in my life, in my day, in my relationships, in my finances, in my health? This literally can be applied to every facet of your life. If not, that's totally cool. If you know, you know. I have that on my coaching page. If you know you're ready to work with me, you know. Go there, sign up. I'm so excited to work with you. If not, that's cool too. Take what I've shared with you today and run with it. Run with it. Commit every single day to checking in and asking yourself, where do I feel out of alignment? What feels off? And then give yourself permission to take just one step. Shift just 1 degree. Tiny little bit. Okay. I love you. I hope you've enjoyed this walk and talk episode of my podcast. Also, these are going to be unedited. So if you hear my dog bark in the background or jets flying overhead or delivery trucks, whatever, life happens. We're not apologizing here. I'm just stating the fact. Life is happening around me, and I'm not going to edit it out. So I love you guys. I hope that this serves you today. If you are guided to work with me, if you know, you know, click the link in the show notes about getting coaching and sign up. When I fill up, the sign-ups will change to a wait list. Now, my coaching programs are 6 months long. The reason being is because us humans like to cycle. We go through these ebbs and these flows, and going and working with someone for a very short period of time, it's challenging sometimes to be able to transition into that space of self-sustainability, of really making these changes and shifts a habit. So I prefer to work with my people for 6 months, because that way I really, really, really help you ingrain these techniques and this method into your life so that you will never need me again. Okay? So I hope this has served you. I love you so much. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen to this walk and talk and walk. And I hope to hear from you soon. All right. See you in the next podcast.
If you're enjoying this content, which I hope you are, and you're applying this knowledge in your life and are seeing results, I would love to hear about your successes. Click the link in today's show notes, share your success story with me so you can help to inspire others. Also, if you've been loving these episodes, it would mean the world to me if you would rate this podcast on iTunes. A 5-star rating is what I always aim for. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. All links mentioned are in today's show notes.